Janie McCauley from AP. Nice to see you.
See you.
We're supposed to say our names to help
Please
with
do.
the transcript.
Introduce yourself to the world.
How much momentum did you gain from last season? I mean, I think a year ago you were hoping to play till you were 40, kind of hinting that way. And just how do you feel going into this after another championship and just at the top of your game?
The championship glow is real. Obviously, you enjoy the off season and know all the work you've put in over the course of your career, and especially the last 3 years to get back there was meaningful, and you embrace it and appreciate it. Appreciate the vibe you've built with the new look team built on the core, of guys that have been around the block, but very excited about what it means to come into this season trying to defend, knowing that there will be new challenges for everybody as a team, everybody individually, and embracing it. My 14th year, I feel fresh and prime, ready to go. I feel like I'm, in my head still getting better. So you just try to kind of feed off of that. Understand it's a long journey. We were doing some defensive strategy and stuff like that yesterday, and it kind of felt for a second like we were still preparing for the Celtics in the final series just because it didn't feel like that long ago. But, we're on hopefully another 9-month journey starting yesterday, and it's exciting. You're blessed to play this game at the highest level and understand, we still have a great opportunity to hopefully win a couple more championships.
Hey, Steph, Dieter Kurtenbach, Bay Area News Group. Last year, you guys didn't hide from the fact that outside naysayers were part of the motivation in the process of that 9-month journey. How much is the you guys will never do it, you guys can't repeat sort of conversation feeding into motivation this year, or is there a different motivation? You have to change the chip on the shoulder.
Yeah, so probably a little bit of both. It'd be dumb to try to naysay us, and actually think people are going to take you seriously. But we also know, like, a lot goes into winning a championship, and it's not a guarantee every year, no matter how much of a chip on our shoulder we have. You just kind of embrace the work and the motivation. For me, it's kind of the genius question about, where you are in your career and really reestablishing, like, what is it to be in your prime and, maintaining that level of play for as long as you can. And then also kind of feeding into the fact that everybody on our team is in a different, situation. It has to embrace whatever that is for themselves and bring their best self every single day. And as leaders of the team, we have to kind of, encourage that as much as possible, and find, chemistry, with the new additions that we have and guys who are going to be more, have a more significant role in our rotation from jump. So usually that stuff kind of takes life of its own as you kind of get into the heat of the battle, as you get closer to opening night.
Scott Osler, Chronicle. Steph, some guys feed on adversity and negative talk and so forth. Maybe it's going to hurt you if it goes the other way. Like today, Giannis, for instance, was saying Steph Curry is the best. Is it going to? Will it soften you up if people are too nice to you?
He said what?
Giannis Antetokounmpo. He said that you're the best.
I was like, thought you were making that up.
Oh no, no, he didn't. I guess they had their media day too, and he offered that.
Got you. Well, I don't know. What was the question? Sorry. Thanks for telling me that. Thank you, and thank you,
Yeah,
Giannis.
you get motivation if people are talking bad about you and putting you down and stuff like this. Is maybe too much the opposite way. People would be too nice.
Nah, I don't know if it was gamesmanship to set the table for. I would say the same thing when you're facing the champions. Like that's part of like the nature of the league. We all want to win, the championship. And when you look at the team, that's the last team standing, and who was playing the best. I was thinking the same thing about him last year. Coming off their run. So I appreciate the compliment. It's not going to soften me up to get complacent at all. But you do appreciate the respect of your peers to go out and say stuff like that. And I've been in the situation where I'm complimenting guys around the league, a lot as well.
Steph, Ron Koichik from the San Francisco Chronicle. You mentioned you feel good. How different did this offseason feel, given that you made this long run in the finals, which you hadn't done the 2 previous years, just sort of physically? And related to that, as you look forward, what do you think about managing minutes? I mean, Steve's obviously talked about that and wanted to do that for you and Draymond and Clay as you get later in your career. How important is that?
I think me and my off-season team talked about that a lot, around the balance between the championship celebration, when is the time to turn the page and get ready for this coming year. The difference in the schedule from 2020 and that 9-month-long off season to 5 months last year to now 3 months, and then comparing that to, we did that 5 years in a row at one point, playing into June and having to have that quick turnaround. So we've experienced a little bit of everything, which helps because it gives me confidence no matter what you need to do, you'll be able to find a way to get it done and have a recharge mentally and physically to get ready for the year. So I'm glad the season's back because I feel prepared, and I only took 2 weeks off and kind of understood, especially as you get later in your career, you don't have time to really get too far away from it because it's too hard to build back up. So there's a lot of experience and collaboration on what that looks like in the summers. And then the minutes question is really, there's always I think the last couple of years there's been more of a conversation around what that looks like. I know I could play 36 and feel great, every single night. That's me as the competitor, and obviously my opinion matters, but there's also trust that we're going to put ourselves in the best situation to win, and knowing that there's room to kind of ebb and flow a little bit on either side of that, depending on how the season's going. So, Coach is a very smart man, and will make smart decisions.
Steph, short but busy off season for you. What was the favorite thing you did this off season, non-basketball related?
I don't even know. There's a lot of great things. I mean, going back to Davidson was special for sure, knowing how long of in the making that was, and celebrate not only my accomplishment in the classroom and as my Davidson basketball player and all that, but also celebrate Coach McKillop and his 33 years leading the program, and he's a very humble guy, so that celebration was obviously centered around me, but it was more a reflection of what he's built in that program and the results of the human beings that have gone through and come out of that program and done some amazing things, not just in the NBA but all around. So that was a special time, especially coming off a championship where none of that happens without him, and set me off in my ways the 3 years that I was there.
Steph, Andre, right here. Andre, him coming back, obviously he'll provide mentorship to the young guys and hold them accountable. Well, what having him back, what does that do specifically for you? And do you believe him when he says this is his final season?
Yeah, he didn't say that last year. He kind of was a little vague coming back. We all assumed it was his last year, but he's planting his flag now, which I think for him is a healthy way to approach this year, knowing he's given everything he's got. And the point of him coming back is, there a lot of people talk about him being a mentor first, like that's the kind of the narrative a little bit, but he's not coming back if he doesn't think he can play and contribute, whether it's 10 minutes, 20 minutes, big game creeping up, maybe even more, like playing, consistently, maybe the second half of the season. Like, he's not here to be a coach first, player second. So excited about what he can prove on that front, but obviously the mentorship is a big part of the presence that he brings in the locker room, on the court, front office, management. Like, he's a sound box for everybody and a voice of reason for everybody. So it's built on 19 years of him being who he is, and it was a great podcast to listen to here, and he's coming back.
Steph.
2022 saying that is hilarious. Podcast announcements, phenomenal.
Steph, Mark Spears, ESPN's Landscape. 2 questions. 1, your thoughts on the 6 on your jersey, and also 2, Draymond.
What'd you say?
The 6, the Bill Russell.
Oh, I didn't even see that.
Yeah, I don't know if you even noticed. And also LeBron, Chris Paul, Draymond. They all had their words about Robert Sarver. I was wondering if you had any comments about what happened there and your fellow NBA brethren speaking up about it.
I'll start with that. Like, I think the outcome was exactly what should have happened. I think I had conversations with Adam Silver directly and kind of got his point of view of what decisions and I guess mechanisms he had to intervene and bring down a punishment that was worthy of the actions that we're all responding to and representing the league as a whole and protecting the integrity of the league and the standard that we set in terms of from execs, ownership, all the way down to players. There should be a standard around what's tolerable and what's not. And so, again, the outcome was exactly what it should have been. Honestly, I thought with the punishment that was handed down, it would probably dragged out a little longer. But I'm glad that we kind of got to the point where hopefully the team's up for sale sooner than later, and you can kind of move on knowing that's where it should be. So for Bron, CP, Draymond, everybody using their platforms to speak on it, even Adam, picking up the phone and answering calls from your top players who have vested interests in protecting the league as well. All that stuff matters, and you want to have kind of swift responses and reactions to stuff like that. So, and then this is special, knowing what Bill Russell meant to the league in a very pivotal time in our in society, and also in the early days of what the NBA actually meant and its place in the country. And I think the things that he dealt with on and off the court and still rose above. This is a very special, I guess, symbol of how far we've come, but also to keep his spirit alive in terms of doing the work that he kind of made his life's work. I've actually been reading a little bit of his work and really understanding what he went through, even before he got to the league, and some of the ways that he impacted civil rights in our country, and also allowed the NBA to be what it is today. So definitely a special tribute, and that every team is retiring number 6 is special.
Steve said that yesterday at practice it was basically like vets versus the youngsters.
It was like that today too.
And he also said it was pretty lopsided. Is it as lopsided as he said it was? And what do you think about that dynamic entering the season?
It's supposed to be. It's supposed to be like that. We know what we're doing. We have good chemistry. We're just coming off playing in the finals 3 months ago, but you're also setting the tone of like what it means to play for this team the way that we do, and understand that they, young guys got to be patient with what that process looks like, but they got to be committed to it. And I think we have a really good group of young guys that are approaching it the right way and are going to get the rewards, in due time if they stick with the program and just come ready to work every day. So, with all our success, it's easy to forget. Like when I was a rookie, I had no idea what I was doing, and obviously we have kind of a real set system now that has some championships behind it and has a little more oomph. So I'm sure from their perspective, it's a little overwhelming, but just stick with the program. Keep your eyes and ears open. You'll learn as you go, and you'll be better for it, and we're gonna be better for it as a team.
contract negotiations with various guys on your roster will kind of be a topic, especially in the next couple weeks. Is that something you want like open in the locker room where like it's not an elephant in the room type thing? And would you like to see, I guess some of your teammates get locked in more long term?
Absolutely. To both those questions, I think a good organization is going to have those talks, especially with me, Andre, Draymond. Like, even though he's part of that, is like we have those conversations, knowing that every decision is meaningful in terms of us putting the best team together and keeping things moving in terms of being championship contenders every single year. So you want that to be the spirit of how decisions are made, and we want the best chance to win every single year. And we've proven with this squad, like that's what the results have been. So we want to keep that together for as long as we can. That's the goal. So yes and yes.